Hello, welcome to Weird and Woo. I'm doing this again because I don't know what was going on with the last one, and that was a really short, sweet, to the point kind of message. And so I got time for another one. Um, anyways, this is just gonna be another coffee and tarot because I never got through my first cup of coffee. So I still have some. Grab your tea, your coffee, your lemon water, whatever you want. We're going to dig in and see if there's a message from spirit. Again, we come to this with no parameters, no time frames, no intentions. It's completely spirit led, whatever spirit wants to talk about. So um, I was taken aback because usually coffee and tarot is a longer process because they got a lot to say. They got through that one fast, and I was like, "All right, it's time for another one." So we're doing another one. Some of the cards are already speaking to me. Let me give you my spiel. You are a sovereign being over your life. You get to determine if, how, when, where, why. Any of these my messages might apply. My recommendation is never Cinderella shit to make a fit. Okay, fantastic. Um, this shit, pardon my French, is because, as I said in the last one, the hot water is like barely lukewarm and it's running out really quickly. So I was able to do the body and the hair was like, all right, buddy, you're just going up. You're going up. I ain't fooling with you. So anywho's, that's the reason why I let I even had to pump up the heat in here because I don't have my sweatshirt on, and I'm was like was a little nipply. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So okay, so Starman was talking to me, and so was the Egyptian gods deck already, and I'm like, alrighty. And they were showing me before I came on. Um, so like I have this image in my head of a waterfall. It's not a monumental massive one. It's probably 2 stories at best. It's on the smaller side, but it's not like a trickle or a stream, and they always show me it's, like, in a very forested area, but it comes over, coming off like a mountaintop kinda thing. Coming over like, there's a little cliffy area, rocky area, but there's trees all around it, but it kind of like where the waterfall lands, it goes out, and it's less forested, I guess you could say, and becomes like open land. And like, so the creek just kind of goes through, anyways. And there's this one tree. There's a very particular tree. Like when I tell you, I've had this very specific image in my head for since 2018. Um, of like, and I've talked about it before, but I'm always like, I'm gonna find this. I know one day I'm gonna find this. Like it's a legit place on earth. I don't know where because it's hard to like there's so many places this could be. And I just know that I'm one day I'm gonna find it, right? So I wasn't thinking anything, but I showed me an image of somebody like it's not a telescope, but it kind of is like it's that singular, like you can kind of like look through and like, see far off places, and like somebody was perched somewhere. I don't know where. And they're like, hey, look through here. And I look through it and it's something very similar. Like I don't see the waterfall. I see an area that's very similar to the images that I see. So it's almost like somebody else finding something or somebody else surprising you, like something that you've been looking for. Somebody else may be the key to finding it. And of course, I am like really hoping internally that that's just a personal indication that I get to find this beautiful little place. Hey, how are you? Oh, look at you. Oh, back together again. Um, Hey guys. So, that's kind of like I'm feeling like so somebody might be key into finding something that you've been, you know what I mean? Um, hey Manny, have you been busy? Like we know you've been busy. But like busy on the other side of things. Like, how's work? How's that looking? Aren't you glad you didn't come to the US? Because I told you it was getting really bad. I was like, don't you dare. 'Cause girl, it is a shit show here. Oh, y'all are gonna be I love seeing y'all. Okay, so let me get my shit together and get back to what I was talking about. Um, yeah, so there might be that might have something to do with it. It could have just been something for me, but it felt very like just before I came on, so I wanted to share. All right, we're gonna go with I'm trying to determine which one's first. I'm going with the tarot first. I'm not the oracle card. Oh, that's right. Kelsey's not on Instagram. She didn't get to see the pictures. 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 Ace of Cups. The Devil. The Devil. Now, here's the fucking thing, okay? Tell me why this motherfucker got the two sphinxes that would normally be on the chariot. Because some shit's like they're both facing forward. Remember, I always say, if they're trying to go opposite directions, ain't no nothing happen. Not nothing. But on the devil card, these two MFers are like zoned in, locked in alignment. See? Confirmation. Green's important, but they're not giving me heart chakra. This is more of like nature-based grounding green. They're showing me okay, here we go. We're going on a ride. Um, you know when you get near a creek and everything else in nature could be dead as a doornail, but you get near a creek that's really, really flowing, really good, really, and it's like the ground cover is the brightest, most beautiful green, as if you know some nymphs or fairies live there. You're like, oh, this is magical. This is a magical little place. Like that's what it's reminding me of. I don't know. We're gonna hippity hoppity around until we figure out what they're talking about. Uh, okay, we're gonna wait. Am I see here? Okay. It's odd to have the devil align mimic the chariot, but the devil would be success in business, in career, in finances. He's you know what I'm saying? I don't get the normal, like, old patterns, illusions, loops, being tied down. I don't get that kind of energy from him. But, I mean, wouldn't it be funny if the chariot was masquerading around as the devil? Like, the way forward is the is how is what makes you think that is the I'll get it the fuck out. Holy shit. The thing that you think keeps you stuck or in a loop might be the way forward or the way out or the way to success. The thing that you feel tied to, that you feel is limited, is exactly what's going to take you. Oh no. Hmm. Hierophant. Hold on. Three of Swords. Lovers. Seven of Cups. They're giving me the word confounding. Right now, the they're just giving me words. The star of the show is the Three of Swords. It is the uncertainty. We do have three swords pointed down. There's something here about three swords and a lack of truth. Two of the swords are over here, kind of crossed, like the Two of Swords, like trying to make a decision, while one sword is over here. Okay, I feel as if like there is a decision to be made between two swords. Although something's not being spoken about, something's not being illuminated or discussed or seen correctly. So this feels like something false. That's why we got the question mark here. If you can see it, and I have short arms, y'all. I cannot, like, you know what I mean. There's confusion about this. There's some confusion on this, and it's like someone's trying to pretend to be happy. Someone's trying to pretend like something's, you know what I mean. So Three of Swords, you have to like paint it on. There's like a facade, trying to paint something to be better than what it is, even to yourself. So two people are lying to themselves. There's a third sword over here. Not being talked about, not being addressed. Uncertainty about that as well. So we have the fetus alien thingy, whatever it is. This is kind of like the potential, something yet to be birthed. It's giving somebody is not speak like there's truths not being spoken. There's decisions to be made. There's confusion around those decisions. There's trying to paint something better than what it is. There's a whole third energy not even being spoken about or spoken to. There's no communication here about whatever is creating some sense of grief, and a sense of like separation from the self and confusion about how to get something started. trying to pretend it's better than what it is. Like, 'cause the fact that they are painting the heart on this thing, it's like pretending your heart's in something that it's not. It's like, okay, they're showing me stuff and I'm gonna have to talk it out. And it'll probably make sense. There's somebody in an existing commitment here. Hierophant with the devil. Dressing it up as if it's a success because it looks an awful lot like the chariot. Or maybe there's been some sense of success, but I kept getting business with the devil and not, you know what I mean? Like, it's like having a relationship where, or a partnership of some sort where business side of things is good, where like there's accomplishments, but there's no love. There's accomplishments, but there's no love. Like a commitment or a higher level commitment completely tied to those accomplishments, to the external material achievements. There we go. That's what I like. There's certain things of like achievement, success, but it's all external, not within the relationship, not and like that's the bedrock of this higher level commitment. This something about because they're showing me all the tentacles from the black blobby whatever it is. It's very tentacly. It's like it's so that's the bedrock. That's the glue that holds something together. Oh, the things that people do together and accomplish together rather than the connection in and of itself. Like if those accomplishments are stripped, or if like this what connection of whatever this is, this partnership, if it did not have money, business, status at its heart, it would fall apart. There wouldn't be a connection. Like everything is woven into the material. Um, but no real okay. But then over here we have okay, fucking get it. Okay, so like remember I said there's the two swords, right? Well, it's laying like this. So the two swords are over here on this side where this higher like when I say higher level commitment, it's not like, oh, this is I don't know, like any myriad number of things that people call connections these days. It's not talking about spiritually speaking, it's talking like a very like it's a strong commitment, either a long-term commitment, like 10 years or it's a marriage. Like it's a very established with Hierophant connection. But it's on the side of like, where are things going? I want something new. Things are not being spoken. There's no real love. Like we're pretending. There might be a sense of respect for one another, but I feel no real connection with these two. Look, if this ain't you, just like we're getting tea on something. So, you know, join in. Why not? I don't. I'm like, what the fuck? Squeeze me. Um, but on the side where the one sword, it's like that third energy that's not being acknowledged, not being talked about, but over by themselves is the lovers with the 7 of cups. Is where deep soul connection and love would exist, but there's like a sense of confusion around that. Like you've got this where I don't know, like everything it's kind of like with the devil is that everything materially looks like it's great. Like this should be a great connection because we got the checklist and we check everything off on it and then some and da. You know, it's like, the white picket fence, 2.5 kids, like we if I like right now in the United States, they are really trying to paint what a good relationship should look like. And it's a very patriarchal women should be at home. They don't need degrees. They need to be at home with the kids and da-da. Like they tell you all these tenets of what would make our society great again. What would make people happy again is if you do this, and it's like bullshit. This idea of fulfilling some kind of like template. You know what I mean? Again, like if you were to write everything on paper, it sounds really great. Like what do you mean? This is great. And it's not. Because it's strictly held together by material things. It's the kind of thing like if they didn't have something to constantly work towards or something external to the relationship to focus on, and all they had left were each other, whatever this is would crumble. External goals, external things, accomplishments are the only reason these two are together. Financial material status. But with the third sword, where this is where grief lies, right? This person is wedged between the two swords and the one sword. And it's kind of like that's where the grief exists. Is there's something confounding about the place or person that someone feels they could find love and like a deep soul connection. And they're like, why can't I have that over here? Because this looks really great on paper. If only I could just add that to um and they're really having to fake it over here in the connection. Like dress something up. I feel like even trying to convince themselves, like dress something up as. And there's major Capricorn energy with the devil, obviously, but that there's a sense of consistency, integrity, loyalty, like seeing something through to the end. Like I've made a commitment, now I have to do this because I said I would, even though it is doing it for the wrong reasons. Um, there's something about the 7 of Cups, like, because a lot of times at first glance, some of these cups can kind of seem like this is like options. It's like there's a particular person, and I don't really do like this weird kind of dynamic stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you. But it's coming through. Um, this is like just a person existing over here in the sea of options. Like of all the options, why them? It's like feeling connected to and love for someone that they feel is like, why? Why is that where my soul feels drawn? There's just a lot of confusion about that. And I don't understand it because there's not communication happening. So like maybe somebody's like, that's not really love. It's probably just obsession. It's just infatuation. It's a da, 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 da. But somebody feels soul level, like pulled somewhere. Like an unexplainable connection. And like, why would you something that looks so good on paper and like that has brought a lot of success? Like, I feel like again, any success here is really actually external success. It's not. Yes, you can say that there's been growth for you as a person, but not. It wouldn't be spiritually, and it wouldn't be emotionally. Reminds me of kind of like, I'm thinking of like a lot of the boomers where it's like they end up together and they just stay together because, you know what I mean? But not really because they love each other. Like there were a lot of us, a lot of millennials that were like, why are y'all together? Like you could tell. Like they acted like they didn't even like each other. But as long as they had some kind of common goal, whatever connection that was or commitment was worked. And that's why you saw a lot of unhappy and like marriages falling apart when kids left the nest because they no longer had the external goal, the external glue that kept them together. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Somebody's existing in one thing and feeling something. Okay. Page of Swords. Page of Swords. High Priestess. Four of Wands. Look at all this green. Look at all this green. We were talking about the green. We were talking about when I said nature could be completely dead all around it. But you get near like a really flowing, nutrient rich creek, and like the ground cover is just this bright, vibrant green. It's so alive. And it's giving where, because water is like representative of your emotions. That's what comes alive. And there's this sense that whatever they're in is dormant or I hate to say it, dead. Um, it's like they can't bring their emotions back online. I think they mistaken um, teamwork for love, um, accomplishments, sense of satisfaction, and it's like almost like using as much as you can external to feed the relationship to convince yourself that you're good. Because sometimes, if we can achieve a sense of peace about things within our life, we will assume that peace it transfers over to every area. And it's kind of like, no. Um, this feels like a relationship that happened after something like bad experiences. You know what I mean? These two worked well together. This person's they were a great person and we were able to do things and we had some interests together and the absence of turmoil they interpreted as love and connection. This does scream heart. Um Look at all that green. Look. And that's the high priestess and the four of wands. Four of wands is like a union. I got to find out about this page of swords. Because there's almost like this idea of like something more. There's more to this. Trying horn. There's more to this. This is beyond. This has a spiritual element to it. Between the lovers, the high priestess, and the four of wands. Um, Again, very much like your soul feels connected to something, and then you're being pulled in a particular direction and connected to something. Tell me about the Page of Swords. Three of Wands. Look at all the green on that person. Um, Most certain there's communication happening. Because at first it felt like information gathering, but with Three of Wands, it's like something incoming. Trains might be important or significant. That's too much. It's funny because the green that is on the side with the singular sword, the lovers that card where it's confounding, like, why do I feel so much over here? And remember, I was like, this green didn't feel like heart, but look how tiny. This is just a little bit of green at the bottom. Like, there's this, it gives a sense of rootedness or security. Yeah, it's like mistaking security for love until somebody feels something over here and they're like, whoa. And then they realize it. And that's why they thought it was obsession because they're like, why am I feeling this? They're real confused as to why, and then why this person. It's really giving like, uh, there's no real connection. Whoever's in this grief mode or feels kind of like separated from the self, um, it feels like they have an immense amount. I'm only seeing it from their perspective, let's just put it that way, and they have a like, they're confused as to why they would feel anything for a particular person, but way more than they do with what they currently have going on. And it's like the mind trying to convince they're trying to convince themselves, and they could do it before, right? Because the stability seemed like felt like love, uh peace rather than turmoil felt like love. Uh it was like, so they could tell themselves that. They could lie to themselves. Um but then when you feel a real soul tie, a real soul connection, a real deep soul level kind of a love, an emotion that you are like that feels overwhelming. So you're thinking, God, am I upset? Like, what the? It, it sheds light on what seems to be missing over here. And it's because, and again, I'm seeing this green matches this. There's green down here in the lovers, right? Like, it's like because this is a higher, different, higher. I don't want to say that. Like, an otherworldly kind of connection. This one over here is very much rooted in the 3D, the material, the tangible. This extends far beyond this reality. And it's like communication would be incoming. Um, a couple more from this one, and then we're gonna go from a different son of a biscuit eater. Something is ending. See how these colors match the devil and not all the greens over here? Ten of Swords, like something's dead, done, over with. So that screams to me this has been dead, done, over with, but a person, because of the sense of security and groundedness, um, and maybe longevity of whatever this was and what it could do for them, they convince themselves that there's not anything better. Like, why would I leave this? Why would I leave this situation? Like, they fought for this, is what I'm hearing. They fought for this until they experienced emotions that were completely absent over here, and they couldn't convince themselves anymore. So it feels like emotions have been pretty non-existent in the established connection, because we're looking at how this is splitting off. Like, there's a portion of them that's like the part of them that they thought was dead and didn't need whatever. Take a look at this. You can't really see it here, but there's a like he's touching his own heart, and it's like a shock, like like being electrocuted back alive. And you can't really tell, but from when I'm looking at it, it has a green hue. So it's kind of like being shocked back from like a part of them that was dormant. We'll call it dormant. All right. So this sounds a little complicated, cuz I have no real clarity as to whether this person What are they doing? Because the Three of Swords was the overall energy. Like they feel really, they have grief over this. They have grief over this dynamic. Like you can't ignore. There's something going on here that they're not telling me on the other side. Let's go there. What are you not telling me? Okay, new era elements. What are you not telling me? Because this is a bit messy. And I don't feel anything from the other person that this person feels connected to. Like I don't get anything. So spirit's solely focusing on whoever's in a committed connection or was in a committed connection. Um it's like their perspective of seeing, feeling, experiencing something, and I almost feel like there for a bit they wish they hadn't because emotions are messy and whatever they're feeling is overwhelming. And here in this kind of connection, they have a bit of a control over what's going on. Well, you have the Eight of Cups, which is despair. So there's a leaving that's happening. They're going to leave. They're leaving this situation. If you take the Eight of Cups and add the Ace of Cups, you get the Nine of Cups. But it's almost like leaving something that's been beneficial to them in a certain degree for the sake of love. Like they realize now they want love. Whether they're going to this person or not, I don't know. I wonder how much this person knows, but they at least can't ignore this. Lovers. Yeah, they're leaving one to go for the other for the soul connection. Because they realize they want that more than anything. They tried to ignore this for quite some time. Has this already occurred? Because I get like a hermit. Whether it has or not, somebody has operated in a very solitary energy. I this feels like it's been on the brink before. Something about this over here, like two people kind of like glued in together because of success, achievements, material things. Um I can't get away from it's they said it's been dead over with. It's probably teetered before. Like an in and out kind of energy. Not like I feel like somebody almost checked out previously. Maybe both, but they were like, like too much history, too much going for them, is like give it another go kind of energy. Tell me more about this one over here and what's happening over there. Uh-huh. They have felt very alone. I get the feeling they've been able to tell for a really long time. This had to be a really established long-term kind of relationship. Like they went through it for a period of time with the again mistaking stability for love, mistaking peace or a lack of chaos, civility for love, and it was like it was sorely missing. And that's what they want. They want to go towards, they don't feel like they're being poured into. They want to receive love. So they've been felt very alone and solitary and taking care of themselves. Is like being alone in a relationship. A lot of women can understand that. I'm not saying men can't either, but a lot of women, okay? But it's like they're willing to, and the fact that when the hermit is laid down, he's facing this direction. He's facing, there's a sense of isolation even being in a relationship, in a commitment. Which is what drove the desire for more external things, validation, achievements, success, like like there's something like to satiate what was absent. There is a drive. You take away all those things, and it's so glaringly, unbelievably obvious a connection at all is missing. And that may have tested this relationship. It may have been on the brink of, or actually separated, and then it was like, "Oh, there's too much history, too much this, come back together." But all the while feeling very lonely in something that on paper looks so good, that other people would think it, and it's like, in order to go to a true union, a true connection, we got the 4 of Wands with, because there's something that they want long term in their life. They wanna feel in, like, true union, true connection. They want family, and maybe this doesn't f they know they can have it, 6 of Wands. They know that they can have it. Again, Lovers is twice over on this side, because 8 of Cups leaving for the sake of love, for their heart, for what they desire, because they wanna be poured into. So they wanna find a true connection, commitment, soul level, you know what I mean? Um, Here, they've been looking at, this says success on the bottom, like, it's on the bottom of the deck. Victory, both sixes. They know they can be successful in love. They know they can get love. Okay. 3 of Cups. They wanna go from the 3 to the 2. 3 of Cups to the 2 of Cups. Again, there's a crowd. It's crowded here because we had the 3 of Swords, and we knew there was a 3rd energy. This I can't get away from. This is somebody completely closing something out that has been, like, on the brink or even closed out before and, like, held on to, because but, together, these other things, it was all external factors. There was no real love, but committed. Um, Three's a crowd, going from the 3 to the 2. and it's a choice to start something new in their life to bring this into fruition. Ace of Pentacles, the two of swords, which we had the two of swords. Remember, for those who were or were not, there's two swords on this side and one sword on that side. So there was a decision. We knew there was a decision to be made, and they're choosing to bring a real love connection into their reality. They're worried to a certain degree with the devil card here. The devil card is what represented the old connection. Mhm. It's like they're worried that the old connection or something about the old connection impacting the beginning of this new love. Because it goes, yeah, yeah. Nine of Swords, the devil, Page of Cups. Let's get a different deck. What are they concerned about? Mm. All right, I just got to see. I got to see. No, they want this one first. I got to pull that. Not yet. Okay. So they have a fear that something about the old connection will impact the beginning of this new one. Because Page of Cups is just the beginning, right? It's the start of something. Why? What are they concerned about from the old connection? Because like I'm thinking, do they think like the other person's gonna be, and that doesn't feel like it's it. That doesn't feel like. Four of Wands again. I keep hearing home. Something about home. Temperance. Okay, so something's being watched over. Okay, Spirit. I know you get to direct this, but if they have fears, we need to know what the fears are. We have the old connection and the new connection showing up. What are the fears? Like, okay, will it be reciprocated? Three of Wands. Three of Wands is the idea that Two of Wands, I'm taking action towards what I desire. Three of Wands is once I've done that, will it be reciprocated? Think of a business. I have a desire to create a business. I create it, I do the thing, I put it out there. That's the Two of Wands, and now I'm waiting to see how it's received. It's like putting something out into the universe and seeing if it comes back to you. That's the Three of Wands. Hierophant. It's like, will it be received in the way? Because again, Hierophant's like a high level commitment. Will it be received in the way that I want it to? Because we also have the Seven of Pentacles, the Lord of Success, and the Eight of Pentacles. So it's kind of like, will it initiate and keep going? Will I be able to achieve? Will they want this as well? Would they want this level of commitment? That ain't just it, Spirit. N- Is this other person going to be receptive when this individual is like this higher level commitment, this over here, higher level, Jesus Christ, this other established connection, um, maybe freshly out of when they approach. Because I'm like, "No, there's something about the old connection that's they're worried about." Like, will this new person be receptive given that they've just come out of something? Everybody can have a story of, "Oh, it's been on the brink for a long time. We haven't really been together. There's been no love." It's da, 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 da." Like, and that's true. That happens a lot. People hold on for way too fucking long until something's so exasperated, right? Sometimes a lot of people will hang on to something until they fucking hate somebody, and then it's like, okay, now I can go. And so it's been dead, done, over with for a long time, right? It's like but it's, and I don't care whether they were together, weren't together, back together, whatever it is, um, because when they're looking at this other person, it feels like they are looking for, again, like a real commitment, and they fear this other individual that they feel very connected to and they feel emotions for, overwhelmingly, that would they take it seriously? Would it be received? Would they want that kind of a commitment with them? Can they get it off the ground, but then some? Because Seven of Pentacles, something comes through, but Eight of Pentacles is like wanting to stick around and work, progress together, like to the Ten of Pentacles. Because, wow. Oh, that might, like, they may already be separated from the old commitment, but I think that there's, again, this is a situation where this isn't like we've been separated for 5 years, or like, like I've been out of a relationship for 5, you know what I mean? Like, or I've been out, like, it doesn't feel as long. Like, it's less than a year for sure. For sure. Dare I say less than 6 months. Very, almost very certain about that. Um, Yet what they want is something very serious, very committed. It's like, I don't want to be with somebody if long term isn't on the table. That's the motherfucker that came out of something. Like, there's something about this person will want to go very fast. They will approach very emphatically. Knight of Wands. They're going to come in really quickly. Eight of Wands. This will move along very quickly. And either they're concerned because something lingers, right? Doubts or worries or fears, because they were so absolutely sure about the other one, only to come to find out that their understanding of love was, you know what I mean? Um, or they're worried that something from the old commitment overshadows this, whether it's the lack of time between the two of them. Um, it, like you again, you go from the 7 to the 8. Like it's like, oh, beginning stages to committed, working together, moving forward. But 8 of Pentacles is dedication, focus, commitment to something, seeing something through. Would the other person want to see this through? Will this be reciprocated? Will they want what I want out of this? That tells me even more. This motherfucker ain't said shit to whoever this other person is. This person they feel immense emotions towards. They feel called to this person, 4 of Wands. Like that's there's some kind of like soul level, high priestess. Like there is something beyond, something otherworldly to this. But they obviously have not said anything. Because what do you mean you don't know if this person wants what you want? Is that their goal? The 10 of Pentacles and the Hierophant. Is that their goal? What do you mean you don't know if that Knight of Wands? They will they're coming in hot. And the 8 of Wands is almost like there's an energy of spirit helping this along. This will move very quickly. They want to move very quickly with this. What the fuck kind of story? Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. 4 of Wands. It's being look, it's being overseen by spirit. Temperance with the 4 of Wands. This connection is being overseen. And maybe that's the other thing. Maybe once this starts, those overwhelming emotions only amplify. And that might have them a bit scared because they're like, whoa. So this is all okay. So okay. 4 of Pentacles. Son of a biscuit. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Oh my god. I'm little, but not that little. Okay, hold on. Let's get the let's second time I've seen the star. There's a bit of a hesitancy here. 4 of Pentacles is kind of like holding back just a little bit. They may be a little timid on making this offer. Page of Pentacles. I'm gonna whip out Secret Tarot. God dang, there's a lot of fucking decks out here. My heart is like it's like you know when it like it's not a palpitation, but it is. But it's like it's wriggling. I can feel it moving. Okay. Hanged Man. So they have held back. Okie dokie. Mm. 4 of Pentacles is that stingy, stubborn kind of energy, like like a with the Page of Pentacles, which is bringing this into reality. Hanged Man. Judgment. If they're remotely afraid that they're gonna repeat a mistake like they did before, because it's kind of like, if this is just gonna be the same as before, then why did I leave that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're feeling something they are not certain the other person is. They are certain that they have some kind of connection, that they're meant to kind of like connect with this person, but that doesn't ensure jack shit, right? They don't feel certain about the other person, how the other person thinks, feels, what they'll want. They just are really certain about what they're feeling, and they're about to, they may have held back a little bit just to get like a different perspective. 6 of Cups, soul connection. 4 of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles again. Again, it's the, am I ready to invest in this, right? So, because the 4 of Pentacles talks about past efforts, present moment, and then the future. Like, what does that mean for the future? Do I or don't I? Should I or shouldn't I? King of Cups. Same energy. King of Cups is always about, he's very discerning. Do I or don't I? Where he pours his cup into. And so somebody wanted to see, really wanted to get I don't know so much that this is, again, they're getting crystal clear on how they feel and on what they believe this connection is. There's not any certainty about the desire of their affections, like the object of their affections. The world. But this is going to come to a head. This is going to come to a culmination. All right. Yeah. So they're closing. It's funny because we have the Queen of Swords with the Devil. Man, they have immense emotion and feelings for this person that they are approaching. Don't know if it's reciprocated. They don't know if they're getting into another situation where it's void of love. The Queen of Swords with the Devil. Queen of Swords is more of the mental connection. Is this going to be the same as before? What if this is all one-sided? What if this is all just within me, and that I'll never, like, I like the idea of feeling, like having as deep of what I feel, it, the other person feeling that as well. Like, what if I never feel this reciprocated? The love that I have to give is never given back to me. That it's just something within me that I'm experiencing. Again, that's why they keep doing the nod to, is it just an obsession? Is it just like a fascination? Um, is what I'm feeling real? But again, they've come to the conclusion there's no other explanation other than this is otherworldly. And it's like everything to gain, nothing to lose with the world and the sun. Okay. I don't know why they keep, I can't imagine what's going to come out in the Egyptian gods deck, but to add to this is all focused on one individual out of this scenario. Osiris, death and rebirth. We have order and peace. And remember, they had difficulty before, mistaking a lack of chaos, a lack of turmoil, a lack of pain as love. See, it feels like things were a little too calm with the last connection. We have resourcefulness and understanding. Resourcefulness feels like like there was a benefit. There were benefits to the kind of commitment they had before. And they understand, I guess, what's at risk. The idea of like, well, at least that was, you see, the lack of love became too deafening for them because it's something that they deeply, deeply, deeply desire. And right now, they know that that kind of, they were able to exist for a period of time, trying to convince themselves that that's what they were experiencing. But over time, it felt like it was missing, and but the peace that the old connection brought, just because it was well established and there was achievements, and it's like, oh, I walked the boat, but it became too glaringly loud of how much it's like having love and feeling like you have nowhere to pour it. Um, and I get this, especially with the Six of Cups, like this childhood dream of of always the kind of love that you wanted, and having to come to some kind of understanding that that's not what you had, and the peace that they know they are giving up. Be be but they're not. They're not giving up because they lack emotional peace and, like, a peace within their soul. There was peace within their reality by not rocking the boat. Certain things were very steady and stable. Um, but the like, external things had an appearance of peace. Internally, though, there was no peace. There was no peace. And it's like they have an understanding of what this means to leave one to go for the other. The disruption to their reality and their life and the people that are around them, and their old sense of stability, to go for a more anchored internal peace. Yet all the while, the understanding that they get about this is it is a true leap of faith. It is the truest sense of the Fool card, where I don't know how I if what I perceive and what I want and desire is gonna be reciprocated on the other side. But the desire for love is so great that they understand what's at stake, what's at cost. Union, it would be worth it though if this completely came to fruition. If they came into union, it's worth it. Okay. Um, the 2 fastest tarot cards came out. I know a lot of people, but so did the Knight of Swords at some point. It's in here, under here somewhere. Um, I know some people think the Knight of Swords. I do not. Knight of Swords is a pivot. It is a 180. It is a severance of what was for what can be. Um, and that can feel sudden and like a jolt to the system. But wands move through air faster than swords do. Okay. Swords are heavy, clunky. Um, they're very, they have a higher impact. Um, so there's more of a stark contrast, but they're not faster. Knight of Wands has almost that air of impulsivity, the should or get off the pot, the lack of like him and han, right? It's a person led, which can be impulsive at times. When it's a person, you're like, oh, did you think this through? They move with such swift action. Eight of Wands is when spirit is leading the way, which is even faster than the Knight of Wands. Because is it well thought through? Absolutely. Um, can things be and obstacles, things be moved out of one's way to make something happen better than any human spirit can? We have both of them. And I can't help but the speed at which this is probably going to occur and the speed at which this evolves will be very fast. And it feels like that's spirit's intention. That's spirit's intention and that's their intention. There's a lot of faith and courage happening on this person's part. I'm just going to say, because they are looking at this understanding that I've left something. Again, there's not a big gap. Uh, you know what I'm saying? Which may lead to the sense of, is this impulsive? Do you really mean this? Is it just, this is not a rebound thing. So, I'm not going to go any further because God Almighty, whatever, who knows what fucking story we would get into for this other person that's not, they're like the other person. They're like the object of this person's desires and emotions. And they're just out here like, anyways, um, it feels like the purpose of this reading is one, for the other person that's oblivious to this, or there's somebody here that that really isn't aware of all the things that are happening. And it's kind of like a foreshadowing, like kind of like a bringing you up to par. You know how, like, sometimes, like, the shock of hearing, there's a difference between knowing a death is approaching and then it happening and still feeling shocked by it versus it's out of fucking nowhere. Um, Sometimes a little bit of preparation, even though whatever is about to happen is still gonna be shocking, you know what I mean? Sometimes that helps a little. It helps a little, to especially given the backstory. Um, but it's also a bit of a nod to the person that is moving forward. It's kind of like when you hear your own story reflected back to you, you may be able to see yourself in it for once. Um, it can feel overwhelming to be in the midst of it, but when it's told to you, it does something for your lens. And to know that spirit's on board with what you're doing, it's like the wind beneath your wings that you need to follow through. So, um, because otherwise spirit be like, motherfucker, what you thinking? Don't even do it. That's so dumb. Like, there's no warnings here. That's all I can think is the purpose of this. So, alrighty then. I hope the message found whoever it's meant for. I hope everybody has a fantastic, wonderful day. And I will see you at the next read. I mean, I feel like that's what I said, literally. um, but yeah, I'll see you guys later.